I noticed that one man often stole glances at me in my book, but hesitated to start a conversation. A thin, fine-drawn, long-nosed young man whose politeness, diffidence even, seemed strange in those surroundings. I got to know him too. He spoke in a quiet, shy voice, groping for words in Russian, and making hilarious mistakes, which he immediately redeemed with a smile. It emerged that he was Hungarian, and his name was János Rozas. He nodded when I showed him Dall's dictionary with my eyes on his shriveled, camp-worn face. Yes, yes, he said. A man must distract his attention to other things, not think about food all the time. He was only 25, but there was no youthful flush in his cheeks. The dry, papery skin, made transparent by the winds, seemed to be stretched over the long, narrow bones of his skull, with no flesh between. His joints ached. He had caught rheumatic fever, felling trees in the north. There were 2 or 3 of his compatriots in the camp, but all day and every day they were obsessed with one thought only, how to survive and how to eat their fill. Whereas János ate whatever the foreman obtained for him, and even though he remained hungry, he made it a rule not to look for more. He was all eyes and ears. He wanted to understand. Understand what, you ask? Us. He wanted to understand us Russians. My personal fate became very uninteresting when I got to know people here. I am most extremely surprised. They loved their own people, and for that they get katorga. But I think this is wartime muddle, yes? He asks this in 1951. If it was still a wartime muddle then, maybe it dated from the First World War. In 1944, when our troops captured him in Hungary, he was 18, and not in the army. I had still had no time to do people either good or evil. Smile. People had seen neither profit nor harm from me. János's interrogation went like this. The interrogator didn't understand a word of Hungarian, nor János a word of Russian. Occasionally some very bad interpreters came along, Carpathian Ukrainians. János signed a 16-page statement, with no idea what was in it. Nor, when an unknown officer read him something from a piece of paper, did he realize that this was the special board's sentence. It is said that when János was rehabilitated after Stalin's death, curiosity prompted him to ask for a copy of the sentence in Hungarian, so that he could find out just why he had spent 9 years in prison. But he was afraid to do so. They may wonder what I want to do with it, and anyway, I don't really need it all that much. He had understood our way of thinking. Why, indeed, did he need to know now? They sent him to the north to fell trees, and there he went under and landed in the hospital. Till then, Russia had shown him only one side of herself, the part used for sitting on, but now she turned the other. In the camp hospital at the Simsk separate campsite near Solikamsk, there was a 45-year-old nurse called Dusia. She was a non-political offender, not a part of the professional underworld, was in for 5 years and had a pass. Her job, as she saw it, was not just to grab all she could and get through her sentence, a very common assumption in the camps, though János, with his rosy view of things, did not know it, but to look after these useless, dying people. What the hospital gave was not enough to save them, so Dusia used to exchange her morning ration of 300 grams for half a liter of milk in the village, and with this milk she nursed János back to life, as she had nursed others before him. Can someone explain to me what ideology this behavior fits into? Compare the communist medical orderly and Dyakov. Toothache, eh, you pig-faced Ukrainian bandit? For this motherly woman's sake, János came to love Russia and all Russians. He started diligently learning there in the camp the language of his warders and convoy guards, the great, the mighty Russian language. He spent 9 years in our camps and saw nothing of Russia except from prison trains on little picture postcards and in the camp. Yet he loved it.